Darmley.
Narmley. Batley. Blackdyke.
Bradford.
Bradford.
Bramley.
Rawdon.
Carveley.
Clovergreaves.
Dewsbury.
Dudley Hill.
Farsley.
Farsley. Fulneck.
Gaisley.
Houghton.
Hebden Bridge.
Leeds.
Leeds. Lowtown. Mythen.
Old Dudley Hill.
Pudsey.
Pudsey.
Queensbury.
Stanley.
Winchington.
There's a story attached to that, you see.
Something which has an origin story.
There's a lot of memories.
2008.
25 years ago.
1994.
1992.
1988.
1984.
1980s.
1975. 1960. I remember that.
50 years ago.
So I remember that.
1950s.
1949.
1933.
1836. 1810.
1783.
I remember.
I was born in 23.
I was born 1933.
I look up at the window many times thinking, oh, I was born in that room, yeah.
I was born in Bradford.
I was born in Hull.
I'm from Leeds.
I think I was born in Ricketshire Lane.
Church Lane.
Green Lane.
Priestley Drive.
Swinner.
Top of the street.
Varley Street.
Wesley Street.
Ricketshire Lane, yes.
I remember, because I remember.
I remember it.
So I remember that. I remember, because I remember.
I remember it.
So I remember that. I remember, because I remember.
I remember it. My auntie lived next door. She lived in the second house.
A back-to-back house. 2 up and 1 down and a cellar head. Full stop. You had a coal cellar and the coalman would bring it up the path, open up the grid and shoot it down into a coal cellar. Cellars were really useful because they were cold and that's where you kept your food. No facilities in those houses. They used to put the washing out and it came in black spots from the soot, you know. You can imagine with all the mills round. But that was life.
I remember, because I remember.
I remember it.
So I remember that. I remember, because I remember. So I remember that.
With very few books in our house.
Bought a bit of material, didn't you? And I made all my daughters little dresses when she were born, yes.
But that was life. He reared a family of 12.
And when we were children, we had a camphor bag round our neck. When we were children, we always had cod liver oil and malt. That was like toffee. Oh, you loved it. Oh, you loved it.
I was the eldest daughter, so I had to get to work. My mother only got very little. I think it were about 10 shilling a week for 4 of us.
My father said to one of my sisters, go up to the butcher's and make faces at Mr. Ellison outside the window and he might throw a piece of lamb at you and take it away.
Life was very simple. Life was a bit coarse. That was the way you lived your life. Doctors cost money and people had the remedies. The medical book. Everybody had a medical book. And it was like going on internet to find out what you ail, which is dangerous. But they were more accurate, I would think, because they were basic, with all these remedies. Oh, herbs and all kinds of manner of things that you bought at the chemist. There were potions, not pills, in those days. Malt and cod liver oil with Parish's chemical food. You had that when winter started.
Different processes, you see.
I went to school in a place not too far away called Heckmondwike.
I went to Primrose Hill.
Eagleswick School.
I enjoyed school, but I didn't like maths. Miss Naylor lined up every morning, looked at your shoes, and I loved polishing shoes. My dad was in the Scots Guards, and I remember him spit and polish, and I loved cleaning my shoes. I went to Little More Infants first, because I remember in winter we used to have small bottles of milk, and then sometimes because of the cold, the milk used to come up and push the top. If there were any spare, I used to ask if I could have another one. Can I have another one, please? Even when you had milk delivered at home, that's what happened, didn't it? But then we had a teacher, and he had a piece of chalk. He had an accurate aim with that piece of chalk. He never hit me with it. Do you know what I used to do? I would copy off of the girl next to me, and then Mr. Phillips, that was his name, and he used to say, well, how did you get this? No idea. So he used to get hold of my book and throw it right across the classroom. One of my younger sisters, my two younger sisters, I looked after them. One of them came to see me one day, crying. She'd been caned, back of her legs. Tiny little girl. So anyway, I said to my boss, Harry, I said, I'm going out, but I'll come back. And I went up to the school, and I was looking for this teacher, and I was full of it. What I wasn't going to do to this teacher, hurting my little sister. Tiny little girl.
The village schools, they were so small. I mean, one teacher to 48 children of all different ages, you know. Bit daunting, isn't it?
We sang on the radio, yes, once, yes. Yes. Speed bonny boat like the bird. I would remember that. Speed bonny boat. Speed bonny boat. Speed bonny boat.
When you first leave school, we were very quiet. I think confidence comes with age, doesn't it?
I have a lifetime of textiles.
I liked school, yes, I did. I left at 14.
14 when I left school.
Well, I was only 14 when I started work.
I left school at 15. A lifetime of textiles. 15 to 55.
Winding, weaving,
Spinning.
Weaving.
Mending.
Weaving, cutting.
Weaving.
Spinning.
In my late 20s. And I came for a couple of weeks to get some pin money and stayed. Pin money and stayed. And stayed.
I think confidence comes with age.
I could see the music. I could see the music. The music of the machines. Of the machines. Of the machines. Of the machines.
winding, weaving,
Spinning.
Twisting.
Cutting, picking,
Felting.
carding. Weaving,
Spinning.
Weaving.
Mending.
Weaving.
Blending.
Weaving.
dyeing,
Finishing. Finishing.
beauty and mechanical movement.
Bird's eye. Chalk stripe. Dogtooth. Houndstooth. Black. Pinstripe. Grey. Shark skin.
White.
Puppy tooth. Blue. Tweed. Brown.
Scarlet.
Beauty and mechanical movement.
How would you interpret looms clashing?
Of the machines. Of the machines.
you were always aware of that sort of constant hum in the background, and then when that stopped, it would feel really eerie. If you were going in at a weekend or after hours and there was no weaving, being in a mill where it's really quiet, you're not aware of it. You get used to that sort of hum of the looms.
I quite like the machines as well.
Yeah, and you walk through a mill, you walk through from start to finish, and there is a rhythm to it.
The weavers themselves, I mean, they were incredible women. It was, in a lot of cases, it was the hearing. Each loom has its own tune. They all sound a little bit different. Now, the weaver themselves, they will be amidst of all the looms. The noise will be absolutely horrendous, but they have the ability to let the overall background noise fade into the background, and they would hear their looms playing the tune. They would know instinctively if the tone or the pitch of any of their looms that they were running changed. They would know something was going wrong. What actually was going wrong by the sound of that loom. It could be the picking stick strap, the check strap was loose, something was coming in the rift on the heels, any numerous things, but they would know.
Of the machines. Of the machines.
I've been here about 2.5 years.
I've been working here probably about 25 years.
Big extended families or mill workers in back-to-back houses. And when the sirens went off in the morning, they all piled out at the doors and then they all came back at night.
It almost becomes inevitable that you get offered a part-time job in the mill and then somehow you become absorbed or by osmosis you end up working there full-time, you carry on.
I could think of maybe 5 sort of families, groups of families that have all worked here. We've got a particular family working here. I employed him around about 17 years ago, and then over the years his wife and then his daughter and then finally his son came, so all 4 family members working in the factory.
His sister that taught me to mend.
You quickly become part of a family.
And my grandfather had worked there and my father was the current managing director.
My grandfather was a tuner.
I can easily go back to my maternal grandfather was
In my area,
textiles.
there's a mother and daughter team, and then their uncle and the mother's husband works down in the finishing, and the brother works down there, so it's a real family. It's such a close community.
Always listen to the workforce.
But the camaraderie was always there.
I always tell new starters, just ask anyone any questions and you'll get an answer and you'll feel right home.
It's all about backbone, and we had to have plenty of that, I'll tell you, how we were at one time.
I really love walking through that carding department. The machinery, the age of the machinery, the noise, the smell of the wool.
I loved weaving because it was interesting. We did linings for raincoats.
I used to rather fancy myself standing on a mule going backwards and forwards.
When I was weaving, we had some cards over the top of the looms and they decided the pattern, and down the side of the material was made in England, super fine. The material might be plain or patterned, but that was always at the side because we were proud of it, weren't we? Made in England. Because we were proud of it, weren't we?
You'll feel right home.
We're running 36 looms.
A lot of people don't realise all the different areas that textiles actually go into. You like the biscuit conveyor belts. Manufacturing companies that make biscuits or bake breads and things like that, they use woolen conveyor belts rather than plastics because it's actually more hygienic.
The customers we deal with are lovely. Coming up to a fashion show, it gets really crazy. They're bought by the large fashion houses. Australia, New Zealand,
Barcelona,
Beijing,
Canada, China, Germany,
Italy,
Madrid,
Japan, London, Milan,
New York,
Paris, Stockholm.
Pudsey.
A little mill in Bradford is producing fabric that ends up on the catwalks of the best fashion houses in the world.
We do look at the next sort of step in technology with all the protective fabrics.
We're on the 2nd generation of computers. Technology's moved on. Computers assist us with our colour matching.
The way that things are woven, I think, has stayed the same for a long time. Or the main principles of it, but it's the way that it does it. So going from shuttle looms to rapiers to air jets, water jets, things like that. I don't know what the next step will be.
The machines.
They used to have day trips.
That's a great day. Everybody looks forward to that. It's a real chance to blow some steam and have a laugh.
Away day, where we basically just go, do fun activities and mess around for a day.
They take us all out once a year. They close the mill down and take us on a day trip.
Toy cars or make up. I think you had to make a structure that held a certain amount of weight or run a marble down.
And then afterwards we went to the local cafe down Richard Shaw Lane and had must have been a bit of supper or tea or whatever. Oh, we thought that were wonderful.
It was a big exodus when people went on holiday. What they used to do was, it was called keeping yourself, Bridling to Blackpool mainly, or Morecambe if you were a bit posher. And you'd go and you would have a bed and you would take your own food and the lady would cook it for you.
Growing up as a child, there were 10 a penny in Pudsey. You could leave a job on a Friday and go work for another mill on a Monday. Farsley has a good industry with mills, most of which I think are shut now.
All the mills in Pudsey were closed I was made redundant at 2 places where I worked.
Family businesses tend to be run with a different ethos. If the family shareholders are content to survive or to carry on, it's almost more important to carry on than it is to make profit. So they will accept that they don't make a dividend. They'll accept that the business isn't growing, but they don't want to be the generation that closes the doors and pulls the shutters down, because you're talking about businesses of easily 3 generations.
And then in the crash of 2008, 2009, I repaid all of my loan to the bank with myself, set up a new business. So we joined the group, and that group was highly successful. Big problem now is trying to have these skills from younger people, which sounds a long time ago now.
I remember that.
But that was life.
It's a long time ago.
But that was life. It was called keeping yourself.
I'm talking about a long time ago.
There's a lot of memories.
I remember that.
But that was life.
You've got to know these things, haven't you? Because once the older generation has gone, you've nobody to ask of you.